I love getting all glammed up and I need no reason to do it, and neither do you. And we're going to dive straight in. I haven't done anything to my skin except wash it and apply a toner. As soon as I get out of the shower, I have to apply a hydrating toner. Otherwise, I dry out like a slug. So this is the one that I use. This is the Tur. It's their Milk Skin Toner. Now I'm going to quickly take you through every little step I would do to get super glammed up for any reason or no reason at all. I washed with this and then I used the toner right out of the shower. When I take my glasses off, I can't see, so I've got to use my 10x mirror, which is right here, and if I remember, I'll put it in the links. I'm going to start out with my Ziip Halo treatment because this is what I would normally do. It just gives my face that beautiful lift, and it makes me feel like, you know, I'm hot stuff again. Whether I'm hot stuff or not is not up for debate. The point is, if you feel like hot stuff, you are. Now that we've got that settled, if you've never seen anybody demonstrate one of these, it is just a fabulous tool that I use usually 3 times a week, sometimes 5, and it gives me an instant lift. And it just makes everything look nice and perky. It builds collagen in the skin and does wonderful things over time. I've been using mine for about 1.5 years now, and it's really helped improve my skin. People ask me all the time, if you could only have one device, what would it be? This would probably be it, but I flip-flop back and forth between this and my LED mask. And just in case you're wondering why I'm dancing around and why I left the video that way, it's just because I was listening to music and this is the way it played out. And I thought, forget it, it's staying. Depending on the type of treatment that I select, this can take anywhere between 5 and 12 minutes. So if I was trying to get ready to go to work, I probably would do this at night. It really doesn't matter if you do it in the morning or at night. The lift will last for about 48 hours, and the other benefits will be working on your skin to build that collagen. All right, let's continue. If you haven't seen this yet, I am so obsessed. And when I get obsessed, I either don't post about it for weeks and weeks because I'm so obsessed that I'm like, wow, I could, you know, tell people how to use it like this or like this, but I am literally obsessed. Okay. So it comes with this little squirty tube. It's called a syringe. So I'm just going to put it around here and there. And then a little on my neck. And then you're supposed to stick it back in. That's the way it stays. This is called the Deep Collagen Silk Peptide Intensive Ampule, and it's by Sungbun Editor. If you've got dry skin, this is so amazing because it doesn't leave you greasy feeling, but you look super hydrated. So we're just going to let that dry. Back of the hands with the excess. Ooh, just give it a sec. This is my overpriced Zuvi hair dryer. It's supposed to use wide spectrum spatial modulated light. I have no idea what that means, but mostly I use it on the cool setting to dry my mascara. I'm going to stick some nameless hair clips in my hair to get some volume while I do my makeup. I say they're nameless because everybody asks me about them all the time and they're just generic. Once that Sungbun stuff is dried down, I'm going in with my Estee Lauder Day Cream. This has got an SPF 25 in it, which isn't the reason that I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it because it feels like silk on the skin and it's just yummy. Again, insanely pricey, but use what you have, you know? Once that's dried down, I'm going to jump into my IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus Nude Glow. This is the color correcting medium coverage skin tint and brightening glow serum, and this is in the shade medium. They sent this to me along with the brush that I'm using, and if you've never tried IT Cosmetics brushes, they're pretty amazing. After having said that, I'm really not one of those people who's in love with IT Cosmetics. A lot of their foundations and concealers that I've tried just didn't work out for me. But I was really amazed by this. It's just nice and lightweight and a little dewy, and it just looks gorgeous. While I love their brushes, I actually have tried this in several different ways, and I actually prefer to put it on with my Stands Out sponge. And then for blush, I'm using the Color Luxe in the shade Bombshell, and this is by Jane Iredale. And I'm not gonna lie, this looks like a lot. When I put it on, I thought, why did I put that straight on my face? I never do that. I always put it like on the back of my hand, and then I work it into my cheeks, but here we are. Lucky for me, I actually need quite a bit of color, so this is going to work out fine, but at first it just looks a little bit scary. If you make it to the end, you'll see that it actually turns out really nicely, and you might even think, she could have used a little bit more. Let's speed this up a little bit. You know, one of the things that I hate about longer videos is that they just can drag on forever. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one who's impatient. But let's talk about this concealer. First of all, it's by e.l.f. It's the Hydrating Camo Concealer in the satin finish, and the dang sticker came off the bottom, so I have no idea what shade this is. If I had to guess, it's probably like a chestnut. I like to use this as a contour and also just to add a little bit of warmth to my face. Between this and the blush, I'm really going to look quite alive. Now I'm going for it today with a heavy contour. Normally I would not do a heavy contour. I would contour but with a very natural color. I would, however, do this for a red carpet event, or if I was doing a photo shoot or I was going to be on stage. I think contouring is a ton of fun if you have time to mess around with it, because it really can change the shape of your face. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go for it on my eyes as well. This is actually something that I started doing this year that I really enjoy. But let me be specific about why I like it and who I think it's really for. I have dry, crepey eyelids, so they really need extra moisture. So I moisturize my lids, and then once all that dries down, I'll add this hydrating kind of concealer over top as a base, but also for extra hydration. This is not for you if you have oily lids. Typically, I'll use a powdered eyeshadow over this to set it, but also to add additional color. And this here, all this blending, you know, it's fun if you have time and you just want to sit around farting. That's F-A-R-D-I-N-G, not farting. Then it's all fine and dandy. But if you're trying to get to your job or your appointment or something, this is going out the window. The last time I had a real 9-to-5 job, I lived in the Northern Virginia area. I worked 10 miles from my home, and it took me 1 hour to get there. And every day I packed up my giant makeup bag and I put on my makeup in traffic. If you've got an hour in the car, you can arrive looking fabulous. Notice I did all the blending with that IT Cosmetics dual-ended brush. So easy, and I love that. I have a handful of favorite concealers that I use. This one is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro 16-Hour Wear All Over Skin Perfecting Matte Concealer, Broad Spectrum SPF 25 Mineral Sunscreen. I don't think they could have made that any longer if they tried. The shade that I'm using now is in the shade Fair Cool. This is one of my favorite concealers because it stays put, and it stays put for a very long time. I also like this because it's got the SPF in it, and I can't bring sunscreen all the way up to my eye because no matter what I do, unless it's a really great formula, it's going to get into my eyes, and then I'm going to end up with a watery mess. So I really appreciate the SPF in it. All right, let's talk about eyeshadow. This is not my favorite, but sometimes I like to create looks with it because not everybody has 40 or 50 bucks to go buy a nice eyeshadow palette. So you can make a beautiful eye look with a cheap palette, and we're going to do it. This is the NYX or NYX Ultimate Palette in a shade I don't know because I can't find it. But don't worry, I will find it and put it in the description for you. Or alternatively, if you see that little YouTube affiliate link on the front of the video with a picture, tap that and see if it's in there. The brush I'm using right now is the BK Beauty 201. BK Beauty pretty much hooked me up with some really awesome brushes here in the last couple of months, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed them. I have nice brushes already, but the handles were too heavy. So I love the BK Beauty ones. They're a little bit more pricey, but the handle is the perfect weight. However, for the longest time, and even sometimes now, I use my very inexpensive Duke hair kits. They are fabulous brushes and they have lasted me for years, so there's no reason to go buy the most expensive brushes because you think that they will do a better job for you. You can still apply makeup really, really well with a cheap brush. Since I didn't apply an eyeshadow primer and I applied a hydrating concealer, I'm going to use a little bit of my setting powder. I have one that's in this darker color. It's called Rich Peach. And I'm going to use that over my eyeshadow to just keep things from creasing up and hold it there all day. Now, when I get these eyebrows on, that's kind of when everything starts to come together. And if you've known me for a minute, you know that I love my eyebrow stencils. They're just great for that instant eyebrow shape, and then I can fill it in if I want to with some hair-like strokes if I want to, or I can just leave it like that. I'm using the kit by Mad Love today, and this is in the shade Taupe. Their taupe is pretty darn light, so it just really gives me a little outline. And then I'm going to go in with my iMethod Beauty 4D pen. It's got multiple strokes on one side that it does, and then single strokes that it does on the other side, and just go over that to give me some natural, realistic looking hair-like strokes. I've been using this in the shade Gray because I love their gray. It is the most natural looking gray for pretty much everybody because it's a neutral gray. So if you've got white hair, if you've got silver hair, if you're blending your grays, if you have just started to gray, it's just right. And then, of course, one of the most important things about brows is to just give it a little blend. This next thing I'm going to do is kind of old school, where you take a little bit of concealer and underline mostly under the arch. I like it because it opens up the eye a little bit and gives me a little lift on the arch. However, if you do it too heavy, it can definitely look a little dated. Honestly, I don't really worry about looking dated. I don't really worry about, does my makeup look, all 2026 or anything like that. I just think, do I like the way this looks? And if I do, then that's what I go with. I definitely stay up with the trends, and I consider them deeply, and I consider who creates them. And then I think, will that look good on me? And would I like that? And if those things are all yeses, then I will do it or I will try it. But what about you? Do you keep up with the trends? Do you like to watch the trends, or do you try them? A lot of people, as they get older, they get scared, they don't want to use color because somebody said, oh, you have to stick with nude tones as you get older. And so they're scared to death to look a little bit older. That's definitely not me. If I want to wear purple eyeshadow and orange eyeshadow together, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it look really good, and I could give a crap if somebody thinks it makes me look older. Psh. At the end of the day, I'm here and I'm living for me. And I make myself happy. Speaking of happy, I love this lip combination. It's the lip liner by L'Oreal in the color Toffee to Be, and their satin lipstick in the shade Peach Fuzz. Let me know if you like it. I think it's gorgeous. The nice thing about these L'Oreal lipsticks is that you don't really need the lip liner with them because they don't bleed into those fine lines. But with this one being so light, I really needed it. Sometimes I just like to get dressed for me. Links and shades for everything that I used is listed in the top pinned comment and the description. I'll see you in the next video.